got a really unique chutney for you today. Apple and ginger chutney. Like all chutneys, it goes great with cheese, but it also goes great with all sorts of cold meats, particularly pork. I had it the other day in a cheese and ham toasty, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I even had it on the side with my steak and chips the other night. This chutney's got all sorts going on, and yeah, it's still really easy to make at home. So let's show you how it's done. Ooh. All the ingredients are on screen, and they are listed in the pinned comment and on the website, which is also in the pinned comment. This recipe will make about 890ml jars, and you need very little equipment, just a large pan, a set of scales, some jars, and something to sterilize your jars with. Now I'm starting with measuring out the 300 grams of sultanas. Now I use sultanas with this recipe because I think the flavour goes better with them. I have seen that you can use raisins. I've personally never tried it, but I think raisins would be almost too sickly with this recipe. Now you've lucked out with this recipe because we're also going to use light brown sugar, and it already comes in a 500 gram bag, so thank you for that, Asda. I'd recommend using light brown sugar because it will give the nice colour and it will go well with the flavour. I wouldn't go any darker with muscovado or use white. Next we're going to prepare our 50 grams of fresh ginger root. You can use powdered, you can use pre-bought puree, but personally I think that fresh root is the best way forward, and it is cheaper as well generally. Even if it can be a bit of a pain to prep, I just use an ordinary potato peeler to peel all the skin off. And then for this recipe, it's quite a chunky recipe anyway, so I'm not bothering to blitz or puree the ginger. I'm just going to dice it up into chunks, because that kind of texture goes quite well with this recipe. It's already got the sultanas in there and all sorts of other stuff, which gives this chutney its fantastic flavour profile and its texture. So again, we're going to prepare 2 cloves of garlic. Usually I'm one of those people that if it says 2 cloves, I'll chuck in 3 or 4. I usually chuck in extra garlic, but with this one, you don't really need it. There's already a lot going on with this flavour. I also usually crush my garlic and put it in a pureed form, but as I've said with the ginger already, because this is already quite a chunky chutney anyway, I'm just actually going to dice these to again just add to that kind of like rustic texture and enhance that flavour. So next we're going to need 450 grams of onion, and as you can see I'm just slicing these. The thinner the better, they're going to cook down better and they'll get a nicer texture. And again with onions, if you ever find a hard core like this one, just pick it out. It's not going to hurt you, but it might ruin the texture of your chutney. So the main ingredient, we are weighing out 1.5 kilos of apples, and I've got a fantastic kitchen appliance that I love using to prepare my apples. So I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before, but this is a mechanical apple corer and peeler. You can get them pretty cheap online. I will put one, well, I'll put this specific one in the description for you if you are interested in getting one. But rather than talking you through what it does, I'm just going to show you. Simply skewer the apple on the end, turny, and let the device do its magic. I could watch this and do this all day. It's really satisfying. And yeah, once it's done, you just pull it off the end. And it gives it this fantastic cutting finish as well. It like spirals it. It's brilliant. It's really, really good for dehydrating apples, which I might do a few later because the kids have requested some. And I've got loads of apples left over, so why not? And as you can see, it has made doing 1.5 kilos of apples an absolute cinch to do. You can use any kind of apple for this, by the way. You can use cooking apples. I've just gone with a bog standard sweet gala apple. And then the last thing I'm going to do personally, because the device that I've used, it's left this spiral pattern, which is fantastic for dehydrating them and for snacking on as you're cooking, but not necessarily fantastic for the texture in the chutney. I'm just going to rough cut these in halves. If you've done this a more manual way, so you've just peeled and cored yours manually, then what I would do, I would chop yours up into reasonably small chunks, so that they can reduce down in the pan and they can give a decent texture to the chutney. I don't personally like to puree my apples before I put them into a chutney, because even in chutneys or jams, I find if you puree them first, it just reminds me of baby food. I'd much rather put these in, and if I'm not happy with the texture, just use a potato masher later to squish it down. And then I'm just going to chuck all the apples in the pan, followed by the onions, and get them started on the hob on a low heat because they've got a lot of moisture to get rid of. So I don't really necessarily factor this bit into the cooking time. It's just a little extra step that I do while I'm preparing the last few bits of ingredients in the background. So I'm now going to throw in my 750ml of apple cider vinegar. Again, you can use other vinegars. I personally think apple cider vinegar, funny enough, goes really well with apples. You could probably also use a red wine vinegar, that would be quite nice. Then I'm going to throw in my 300 grams of sultanas. And because I've got this on a low heat, I'm just kind of mixing everything in as I go as well. Next we have the mustard seeds. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds to this. You could also use whole grain mustard. And then we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of just plain white table salt. I wouldn't use any sort of flavoured salts, pink salts, things like that. Just try and stick to an ordinary table salt. And a teaspoon of crushed chili flakes. If you don't want these, you can obviously completely skip this step. And then once I'm happy that that's all mixed in, we're going to add our sugar. Now again, as I said, because it's a chutney and not a jam, we're not going to a set point, so it's perfectly fine to just get all of the ingredients thrown in a one and mixed in. But we do need to make sure that this sugar gets thoroughly mixed in. Because otherwise, when we turn the heat up in a minute, you'll start caramelizing things, and that's not really the flavour we're going for. The sugars here is a preservative and to add sweetness to the chutney. We don't want to be caramelising onion and caramelising apple. So what I'm going to do now that I'm happy the sugar's dissolved, I'm going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes. And what this is going to do is going to allow the sugar and the heat to draw out any sort of moisture, extra moisture from the apples. And then once I'm happy that there's a good bit of juice in the pan, I'm going to bring it to the boil. So as you can see, there's a lot more juice and moisture in the pan now, and the apple started changing colour. So what I want to do now is I want to go back to the heat, and I want to up the heat and bring this to the boil. And once I'm happy it has hit boiling, make sure that you're stirring it so that it doesn't catch on the bottom. All I'm going to do now is turn the temperature right back down and let it simmer. This recipe really is the mantra, low and slow. You don't want to cook this rapid and fast. You want to do it over slow time so the apple has time to soften up and give you this really nice texture. So 5 minutes later, 60 minutes total, low and slow, you can see that this is now ready. And the way you can tell is when you spoon in, you can see there's liquid in there, which we want liquid, but when I'm moving it around, there's no liquid flowing back into the voids that's left behind. And as I'm turning it, I can feel in the spoon that it's nice and thick, and it's got this lovely texture, and it just smells absolutely amazing, which means we are now ready for jarring up. Now, I've said in all of my videos, I go with boiling water all the way. Boiling kills everything. You just get the water to the boil for 10 minutes, and then use tongs to get the jars out. I'll leave a link in the description to show the tongs and everything that I use. If you have any other methods for sterilising your jars, let me know what you do down in the comments. And I'll let you watch my successful jarring of this chutney.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this or learned anything, please consider liking, subscribing, ping a question in the comments if you've got any. I'll make sure that I get back to you. If you're thinking of making this and you like the labels, I do actually have these labels on the website available for download. You can see the link to the website in the pinned comment. If you're looking for other chutney recipes to try, this one up here is a really good one. Or if you're looking for something else to watch, YouTube thinks you'll like this video up here. And until next time, keep crafting self-reliance, one skill at a time.
Well, balls.